December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
On the morning of December 7th, 1941, the Empire of Japan attacked the United States naval fleet at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Following this date, which will live in infamy, the United States declared war on Japan. A few days later, their ally Germany declared war on the United States. America had officially entered World War II. While an unprecedented number of young American men would serve in World War II, the country would also need to drastically increase its factory production on the home front, making supplies not only for our armed forces, but for our allies. This effort would be referred to by President Franklin Roosevelt as the arsenal of democracy. This demand for the tools of war famously opened up new opportunities for women and minority groups. During World War II, 6 million women entered the workforce for the first time. The iconic Rosie the Riveter and her "We Can Do It" motto came to symbolize all women homefront workers. Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park was established in Richmond, California in the year 2000. While the work of the Rosies was done all across America, the Kaiser Shipyards in Richmond and many of the neighboring factories still remain, so it was an ideal location to preserve and interpret the legacy of those who supplied the nation with munitions and machinery. During the war, the Kaiser Shipyards produced 747 ships, making it the most productive shipyard in history. Working conditions on the home front were difficult and dangerous. The high number of industrial casualties would lead to improved workplace safety and regulations, as well as better access to affordable health care. Another challenge faced by working women on the home front was childcare, as mothers comprised a significant portion of the workforce. This led to the establishment of child development centers and the professional field of early childhood development. Women and minorities were as essential to the Allied triumph over the Axis powers as American military personnel. This wartime influence would have a profound impact on the civil rights movement and women's rights movement during the following decades. Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historical Park is a partnership park, meaning that no land or buildings are actually owned by the National Park Service. Many of the structures remain active production facilities or have been restored with exhibits or new businesses. Today, visitors can experience the park through ranger-led interpretive tours at the Visitor Center or by exploring the separated sections of the shipyard. Next door to the Visitor Center is the massive Ford Assembly Plant, where tanks, half-tracks, and armored cars receive their finishing touches before being sent overseas. Several other structures connected to the park that are worth visiting are the historic shops and warehouses at Shipyard No. 3, the SS Red Oak Victory, the last surviving ship built in the Kaiser Shipyards, and the Rosie the Riveter Memorial, which consists of a granite walkway etched with major events from the war that leads you through a large sculpture reminiscent of the ships assembled by the shipyard workers. Of the over 400 National Park Service sites, Rosie the Riveter is one of only 8 dedicated primarily to women. 2020 marks both the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II and the 100th anniversary of women gaining the legal right to vote in America. While progress can often be slow, it's important to reflect on how this progress has been achieved and how much further there is to go.